Good morning, my loves. So if you have seen one of my recent videos, or if you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know that I have been doing some really cute little drawings of buildings. I am absolutely loving it. It's the most fun that I've had with art in a very, very long time. It's kind of a very self-indulgent project. I'm just drawing the things that I like because I'm enjoying it. And I kind of got carried away and I have already filled one of these tiny sketchbooks with the drawings. So I think you've seen this one. And then yeah, I've done a whole load of them already, and I will be doing a sketchbook tour very soon so you can see them all in detail. But I thought I would carry on this wave of inspiration and try to spend a whole entire day doing the same thing. So I'm going to do another one of these tiny little sketchbooks. This is a Henyao mixed media bamboo paper sketchbook. I don't know if they actually come in this size. I don't know if this is just a sample size because they did send me this, and I've had trouble finding them in this size, but it's about just slightly larger than A7. It's the perfect size for these tiny little drawings and great paper for it. I've had no issues whatsoever. But yeah, I thought while I do this, while I challenge myself to a full day of drawing more buildings, I thought it'd be a great time to share my process behind it, because I do get a lot of questions every time I post a picture or a video. I get a lot of questions about my process with drawing buildings from start to finish. So I thought this would be a really fun day to do that. It's going to be quite a hectic one. I've been up since the crack of dawn already, just trying to get all my work done first thing in the morning so I can commit this day to just drawing for fun. And I have a dentist appointment at around lunchtime. I need to sort out my hair. I just washed my hair and I need to do something with it. But the rest of the day I'm just going to commit to this fun little project. I'm really excited to take you along with me. So I'm just going to get started. I have all my tools and supplies ready to go. So this Bicmatic mechanical pencil in a 0.7, I think. I've got the Winsor & Newton fine liner in 0.3. I've got some tissue for my paintbrush. Again, I've got this little sketchbook. My brushes, I'm using a Jackson's synthetic brush in a size 4, and this, I don't know what brand this is, but it's in 0.3, I think, little precision brush. I've got my jug of water for when I get around to painting them, and then my lovely porcelain palette, which I filled with Daniel Smith watercolours. And that's what I used for all my last drawings. It went really well, just a great simple little set of supplies. And now I'm ready to get started. So when it comes to references, you guys know I use Google Maps to find really great houses to draw from around the world. I'll show you a little bit later on my process for actually finding houses, but I actually have a folder full of about 200 screenshots from Google Maps Street View that I take just here and there. It's one of those things that I do when I'm kind of procrastinating doing actual work. I feel like I can get away with lying in bed and not getting on with things if I say that I'm looking for references. But yeah, so I have a load of different screenshots stored up, ready to go for whenever I'm in the mood to draw buildings. I also saved like different landscapes. Anything that I see that I find interesting is just there and ready for me. I actually have way more somewhere on the cloud that I've saved since my hard drive died on me. I don't really know where everything is. Most of my stuff is backed up onto the cloud. I just don't know exactly where to find it. But I do have a good set to get started with, and I'll do a bit more searching later on in the day so that you can see how I get on with that. But for now, I'm ready to get started with drawing number 1. First got a taste for drawing tiny houses during Inktober for my haunted house series. I think the first tiny house that I drew for that was the abduction house, which ended up being my favourite out of all of them. I just loved the look. I love the little details. I just think they're so cute. So from then on I actually wrote down that I wanted to do a series of tiny house paintings. That was back in October, and I'm only just getting around to actually doing it. of this I'm just making up. There's a wall that's obstructing the bottom half of the building that I'm referencing, so I'm just kind of making it up as I go along that bottom half of the building. I think the more I draw buildings, the easier it is for me to just, you know, either guess or invent different parts. Sometimes if I really like a building, I'll do it exactly how it looks in the photo. Other times I'll just kind of use it as a starting point or a kind of skeleton and build on it and add things that I want and take away things that I don't want. One example of that is this one from my last sketchbook that I just finished. The reference, the building was white, it didn't have wood paneling. I decided I wanted it to be concrete. I took off, I think, half of the upper level as well. I just used the basic shape and the idea and just the sense of the building and made it my own thing. A lot of the time making mistakes as well often leads to just winging it and turning them into different things. In one of my last drawings, I started drawing a pillar in completely the wrong place, so I just ended up cutting it off where I'd left it and turning it into a plant pot.
Stereotypical, so we're fucking identical lovers. Yeah, I swear that later on cheating on her, then they're moving on to another. Yeah, yeah. And she been with some stereotypical, so fucking forgettable lovers. Yeah, I swear they treat her wrong, feeding on her, then they're moving on to another. But ooh, she been with some off-brand dudes before me. They treated her poorly. Yeah, said ooh, she been with some nonsense dudes before me. They treated her poorly.
So that's that first one done. It took about 45 minutes, which is a little bit longer than I had anticipated, to be honest. But I think because it's the first one, I'm just getting a bit warmed up. And to be honest, I think I needed this warm up because it was a lot more difficult than I would have hoped. I just think I needed just that first one out of the way to get me into a rhythm. And often when I'm filming, for some reason, even though I'm not dealing with the camera, I find it a bit harder to get into that flow. So hopefully with this one out of the way now, I can start to get into it properly and get back into that really lovely blissful state of just drawing house after house. I'm not feeling very well at the moment, to be honest, so I'm going to do probably one more, and then I'm going to get ready to head out to the dentist and maybe take a little break somewhere in between as well. Right, well, I'm back, feeling a lot better. I think earlier it was just a mix of like pre-dentist anxiety and my period's due like any second now. I was just like really hot and flustered and lightheaded and nauseous, but I think going out, having a little walk definitely did me a world of good. And now I feel a lot more prepared to just crack on for the rest of the day, do a proper drawing marathon. While I was out, I have been walking without my headphones on more and more often recently. It really helps me to be more aware and present and mindful while I'm walking. And I was just observing all the buildings that I pass, and I just saw so many really gorgeous ones. So I'm going to get on Google Maps and have a look at those. I would have taken pictures while I was out, but I always feel weird taking pictures of people's houses in case there's someone like in a top bedroom looking out and watching me. So that's one thing as well that I would recommend. I was talking about this in a live stream. Always just kind of have your eyes open for things and make a mental note if you do see something out on the street, and Google Maps is perfect for just like popping back and having a look at things. I'm also looking at this drawing with fresh eyes, and I actually really like it a lot more than I did when I left the house. So sometimes, even in a drawing marathon, one drawing in, it's good to have a little break, just take a step away, and I'm feeling a lot more in the right zone for it. Definitely earlier this morning I wasn't really ready to start, but having a little walk was great. So I am going to jump on Google Maps to have a look for some of those houses. Funnily enough, it is the same road that I walk down at least twice a week to go to the post office, but I don't know, I suppose with the difference of being mindful and having an actual look at the houses, I saw at least 4 or 5 that I would love to draw. So I think I will take loads of screenshots down this road just to have for future reference, and then I'll just pick one out of them that I like the most for my next drawing. if you're wondering how my trip to the dentist went, it wasn't good news. I think I'm gonna need a couple of fillings, which is quite unfortunate, but it's good to stay on top of these things, at least sort it out now so I don't have to worry about it in the future. Okay, looks like I have chosen the one. Typical kind of Victorian terrace, but they've painted the outside fence a really nice shade of blue, and they've got these lovely rose bushes outside as well, so I think I can get a nice selection of colours on this one.
Ooh, not me. I would never fuck your lover. I would never do those things to her. Do those things to her. Nah, nah, nah. Ooh, not me. I would only lock your love up. Then I go and toss that key. Yeah, I would toss that key. Yeah.
So I have a video on my channel already about like my 5 top tips for drawing buildings, and I think it will be really useful for some of you guys that left comments and questions on my last Instagram post. A lot of people do seem to struggle with drawing buildings, which I can totally understand. It's something that if you're not used to doing it, it's really daunting. So it's a really useful video. I will have it linked up here, but the main gist of it, honestly, is to just block in some super basic primary school shapes, a couple of rectangles. Like here I've got you know, one big rectangle as the house, a few smaller rectangles as the windows and doors, a nice long one down at the bottom to be a fence. And then, you know, once you've got that foundation in, you can go in and start putting in some more complex shapes, maybe some triangles, you know, different trapezoids or whatever else. I think the main thing, honestly, is to keep it as simple as possible and then build on it as much as it suits your style. And then I think one thing that people also struggle with is the drawing straight lines part of it, and that's something that you get better at with time, but also not trying so hard, which is really a difficult thing to do and wrap your head around. But the looser you are with it, the less pressure you're putting on the pencil, the more open you are to, you know, going back over it again and again, the easier it is to get things straight. And I mean, most of the time, I feel like I'm doing a great job, and then I realise once I've inked it and painted it that everything's kind of a bit skew-if. And I personally don't mind that. I think a little bit of imperfection gives a drawing character, and buildings have character, you know. No building is a completely straight box, or not many anyway, and I think the more attractive ones to me are the ones that have a bit of quirkiness to them. So I think it's good to not stray away from the flaws, and you'll probably find that it's a lot easier when you're not striving for perfection. So yeah, I'm gonna get on with inking this one. It's already almost 3 o'clock, so I'm well behind where I thought I would be today. For a day that I'm spending entirely drawing buildings, I haven't done much drawing buildings yet, so it's time to crack on. Can't talk to you all day.
Lately been a lot of good, little bad. I don't put nobody else above her. Yeah, I give her what she want when she want it. I'm not only talking undercovers. Yeah. And she been with some stereotypical, so we're fucking identical lovers. Yeah, I swear that later on cheating on her, and they moving on to another. But ooh, she been with some off-brand dudes before me. They treated her poorly. Ooh, not me. I would never fuck your love up. I would never do those things to her. Do those things to her. Nah, nah, nah. Ooh, not me. I would only lock your love up. Then I go and toss that key. Yeah, I would toss that key. Yeah. And girl, you know I won't go breaking your heart. You'd make that so hard. So right from the start, I'm telling you that I won't go abruptly depart. You would make that so hard, so I'll be right where you are. Yeah. She been with some off-brand dudes before me. Say, ooh, she been with some off-brand dudes before me.
It's Right, so that one is done. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's got that lovely kind of cozy feel to it that I was going for. That took about half an hour, so I'm kind of back on track with how long I think they should be taking. I'm going to attempt now to go into a bit of a beast mode and just crack out like as many as possible in one sitting, and then I'll come back and have a search for some more houses to draw on Google Street View, and then I'll show you a bit of that process as well. But I'm going to put some tunes on and just keep my head down and do as much as I can. Okay, so 3 more houses down. That's 5 altogether so far, 5 more to go. My hands are aching a little bit, my wrist especially is feeling a little bit carpal tunnel-y, and this finger, I have an issue with this finger anyway. The doctor said it was, well, they never confirmed it, but they said it was probably arthritis in this joint. Every once in a while it just flares up, it will get massive, and this joint I can't really bend it when it happens, but I'm hoping that I'm all right for now. I mean, even just taking this short break to have a chat with you, I'm feeling a lot better, so I think I will be fine. I am going to now start a search for some houses, so you'll get to see my Google Map Street View searching methods. But before we do that, I wanted to quickly mention, I don't know if you remember my friend Jessie, who also used to do the online art thing but has recently gone a bit quiet online. I've mentioned him in quite a few different videos. He's been inspiration for some of my art. I remember, I think the last time I shouted him out was during Inktober. I love the work that he was doing, and it was really kind of inspirational and great for spurring me on. He actually ended up sending me his Inktober sketchbook, the physical copy of it, so that was incredible. So yeah, he's been one of my first good online friends since I started this whole social media thing, and he got in touch with me recently asking if I could help him out. He is actually going for top surgery, which is a huge deal, a huge milestone for him, and he really needs help raising the funds for it. So I know that he wouldn't have asked me if he didn't really need help. If you guys are interested in donating, even if it's just, $1, I think that, every contribution would really make a difference. All the details are on the GoFundMe page. I'll have it linked below. I would love for you to just have a look and check it out. And obviously if it's not something you're interested in, then no worries whatsoever. I just thought I would put it out there because that's really like the least I could do for a really good friend. But yeah, link will be below. Now it is time to get searching, rest my little fingers for a little while, and explore the world on Google Maps. Okay, so I always start out more local. I'll look at places that I know will have certain types of houses. So obviously I'm from London, so I can think of, a few places where they might have really big terraced houses, or they might have smaller detached houses, or blocks of flats, or just things like that. So if I'm looking for something to warm up, something for a bit of fun, I might go around. I always bear in mind places that I've seen before as well. So just journeys that I take quite often, from mine to Aussie's, from mine to my sister's, from mine to my dad's. There are places along the way that I'll kind of notice and I can go straight to. Then the next thing is obviously to just kind of drop the little yellow guy wherever you fancy, really, somewhere random. It depends. If I'm looking for a particular type of house, I'll kind of have an idea of where I might be able to find it. Otherwise, if I don't really know what I'm going to draw, with this particular project, I am liking like a bit of variety between the houses. So I've got a kind of Japanese looking one for the first one. This is very British, the second one. Third one is really modern. I suppose that could be anywhere. The fourth one looks kind of, I don't know, I would say like Thailand, maybe Sri Lanka, but it's got like an Asian feel to it. And then the last one that I did, the reference that I used for this one was in San Francisco, I think. So I want something a bit different from all of those things. I will just go I don't know exactly what, so I'll just hover the guy over an area, a large area of land, quite zoomed out, just to see where they have got, oh gosh, I forgot this laptop was touchscreen, just see where they have mapped out the street view, because in a lot of places you can see where it hasn't turned blue, they haven't mapped out the streets yet. So I've never been to an African country, I don't think, so Ghana looks like it has been relatively mapped out. Maybe see if you keep picking up the man just to see where there's a concentration of roads that have been photographed. Right, so now I'm in like a town centre, Kumasi, and I'm just looking at all the little streets, and I'll just drop the guy anywhere really. So somewhere a bit more congested. Even though they've mapped out the streets, not many of them are actually showing up. And then I'll just have a look around wherever I've landed. I'll always, even if I don't think I'll find something I like, I'll always have a quick look just to see. And I'm not always just looking for houses, I might just be looking for anything that, you know, inspires me to draw it. Nice landscapes. Oh, there's someone lying on the floor there. That's a bit concerning. But yeah, I think now that I'm here, I'm looking for something a bit more, a bit less square. I think the last few houses I've done have been quite blocky. I'd like something a bit more almost intricate, maybe something a bit like this one, which I did in the last sketchbook, and that was based on a house that I saw in, gosh, I don't know, maybe the Philippines. So yeah, I think it's more an Asian look that I'm going for the next one. Let's zoom right out and head over. See, this is the fun part, because, you know, I don't know where I'm gonna go, where I'll end up. I think maybe one of these little islands down here, that's pretty cool. That looks like quite a main area, really nicely mapped out as well. So just drop the guy and have a look and see what's out there. And I think a lot of people think I have like a secret to finding nice houses on Google Maps, but the secret is that I just wander around a lot. I spend a lot of time on it. This looks like a really nice leafy green area. There aren't that many buildings, and the ones that there are quite far back from the main road. So I think we might leave this one. Another trick, if you're looking for, I don't know, a certain type of area, I guess, is to go into like satellite view, and then you can see where it's more green, more grassy, and more congested with buildings. I do a lot of this, so I kind of have an idea of different countries to go to for different things. But yeah, there's no real secret other than the fact that I have way too much time on my hands, and I could do this for hours and hours and not get tired of it. Let's see if I can go to Georgia. No, Georgia isn't on there. Belarus, maybe? No. See, all the countries that I want to try out are not mapped on Google Maps. What about Lithuania? Okay. Yeah, I like this. I like this little area. Cute houses, very triangular, just what I was looking for. Yeah, I like that. So just screenshot that. I always like to take a picture of the whole screen, just so that if I want to go back and have a look at the building again on the map and be able to move around it, I kind of know a little bit about where it is. I need to stop touching the screen. I need to remember that this is a touch screen. Okay, well, yeah, I like this little area. I'm going to see if there's something a bit more. I really like it around here. And then the kind of side effect of doing this is that I always come out of it really wanting to go on holiday, because you just see these gorgeous, sometimes really secluded places. Ooh, yes, I like that one. That one's got some nice greenery growing on it. A lot of camping around here as well. Very interesting place. I love going to countries I've never been to before, either in real life or on Google Maps, just because you never know what to expect. And so far, Lithuania is looking gorgeous. Okay, so I'm just going to have a good explore, probably more than one country, pick up a few references to use for the rest of the day.
Slow a little down is what you said. I'ma get it all up in my head. White t-shirt, blue jeans, I can never get enough of you. Bright sneakers on, getting ready for a flashback. Time keeps moving on, looking at you feeling like I could never.
So I mentioned it briefly in the first speed painting I did that I was thinking of making these into little zines. I would love to just have these all together in a little collection, and I think like a tiny little zine would be so cute. So I am looking into it, and I am hoping that it can be something that everyone that wants one will be able to get a hand on. I know that in the past when I did my 30 ways to fill a sketchbook and my Inktober zine, those were limited, and there were always people that would message me for months and months afterwards saying they wish they could have had a copy. The reason that I've done things limited in the past, the first reason is that it just helps with costs. Like, I can't be ordering all those things in at once. So I think with my 30 ways to fill a sketchbook, I just ordered in as many as I could afford to make at the time. And people have suggested doing things like Kickstarters, but there is more of a kind of personal level to it as well. I choose not to make these things like open edition just because to me they are quite personal, and they're almost like a closing of a chapter, like in my life, if that makes sense. So, you know, the 30 ways to fill a sketchbook was such a huge thing for me doing that series, and I wanted something to mark the end of that, and so selling the sketchbooks after that was like the big finale. And same thing with Inktober. I wouldn't want to be like still selling Inktober zines right now because it was that moment right then, whereas with this is such a fun project, even though it is very personal in that I'm like loving it and enjoying it, and I feel like I want to just do this for the rest of my life. It is something that I feel is more like the start of something rather than the big finale of something. So yeah, I'm hoping to make as many as I possibly can. Still not really interested in doing a Kickstarter, not for something like this, but yeah, hopefully everyone that wants one will be able to get a hand on them. In terms of how much they'll cost, I'm going to try and keep them as cheap as possible. I know sometimes people say that I undervalue my work, and that is quite an important thing. You know, it's important to value your artwork properly, not just for yourself, but because it devalues other artists' work when you're pricing things really low. However, with this, you know, they're going to be such small little things. It's like 10 drawings in each. I don't feel like I need to be charging an arm and a leg for it. Yeah, just something nice and affordable for everyone, hopefully. But yeah, that's the plan. That is what I've got on my mind. It's super exciting knowing that I'm going to have something like out of this in the end, you know, like another physical little copy of something. I really enjoy making these little books. But yeah, before that there will be a sketchbook tour, so you'll get to see all of the drawings that I've done in detail properly, especially in this one, which I didn't film at all. This was a lovely little personal project. A lot of this was done like in the comfort of my bed, mainly the sketching, but yeah. It's about 7 o'clock now. I'm going to go and watch at least the first half of Egypt versus Russia in the World Cup. I'm gonna have some dinner, and then we're gonna power on through the last 4 till the end of the night. Alright guys, this is it. I am going to challenge myself to go beast mode once more. Just kind of push it all the way to the finish now. I have to admit, it has taken a lot longer than I thought it would today, or at least that I had kind of anticipated it would. And even though it's just like a fun challenge, it's also something, it's a project that I want something out of. It's something that I'm looking for quality with, really, and, you know, enjoying the process, really making the most of the fact that I can spend an entire day just drawing and painting is really, really incredible. So I'm really happy to spend a lot more time on it if it means coming out the other side with something that I can be proud of. And so far, I'm really, 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 really happy with what I've got. she's the one. She's the one. If there's somebody calling me on.
Why you talking in code, no reason? Why you got me on hold, I'm beeping? I knew something was ignited. When you left, I wanted more. All I wanna do is get to know you. East to west to north to south, the whole you. But I need direction, you get the message. Now don't you hit me with a rain check. I need something like a blank check. Spending a lot of emotion on tonight. Don't you hit me with a rain check. No need to make it a train wreck. Find me a time and decide soon. Cause I'll be on my way, but I don't wanna wait. My time is of the essence, don't you know? If you give me a day, believe me when I say that I could be the presence that you want.
So we're all done. Can't believe I made it all the way to the end. I was really struggling on the last couple, just kind of losing focus and feeling really tired, but I'm so happy that I've actually finished it. Really pleased with every single one of them. I can't believe that nothing went wrong anywhere. There were little errors here and there, but nothing that I couldn't fix, and yeah, I really couldn't be happier. I've had such a wonderful, perfect day. I can't believe it's been real. I'm really looking forward to waking up tomorrow morning and having a look at them all. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this. And thank you for being interested in my kind of random personal projects. Let me know how you would feel about a mini zine. I think I've kind of already got it in my head that I'm going to make them, but just because I have a vision of what they'll look like already. But I would love to know just how many of you would be interested in owning some of these little houses for yourselves. I'm going to do a full sketchbook tour very soon. If you want a closer look at all of them, that'll be then. And also, if you have any questions about anything else, I'll cover it in that, so just ask any questions you want below. And yeah, I am going to stop talking because my wrist is aching and I really just want to be in my bed now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
So tell me you got it right now.